many people in on this as possible. So all I did was I alerted Matt Pegg's office in Ontario. That
Who was that?
he's the superintendent of, I think, the criminal division for the RCMP.
Okay.
But so they call back, so they're aware that I have submitted a complaint with the RNC. And so the first complaint, because it dealt specifically with court-enabled fraud, I started with a simple case, so just my impossible to divorce husband continually committing fraud. And so you guys, because Ottawa Police is complicit, I couldn't file.
Right, but just let me stop you. We can't investigate Ontario Police.
Yeah. No,
we don't have that.
No, I know.
No, I just want to speak.
I heard that.
We don't. Yeah, but we don't have that authority. So that goes through specialized divisions up in Ontario.
Okay.
So if you're going to make that complaint, it has to go to like a cert investigator in Ontario. We don't have any jurisdiction in any of that.
So I'm going to back you up because I've already been well advised by the RNC on how to do this.
Have you done that?
So they advise. I'm trying to tell you what I've done. And
no, I don't want you to tell what the RNC is advising. I want to know what you've done, because you're making an allegation that a different police AG is complicit in doing something wrong to you. So you need to complain to whoever is in charge of them investigating them. We can't investigate them.
That's years ago, okay? So that's years ago. So it doesn't matter. So you guys open the fraud complaint, and then because you don't have the jurisdiction, you forward it to Ottawa Police, and because Ottawa Police are complicit, they put it in the shredder, like all police complaints that I've submitted. So
okay, but
next one. So then that.
But just hold on. You're saying the police agency is complicit in not doing your investigation, and you want us to forward the same investigation to them again?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, because you see, the second one was against someone who was complicit in fraud in Quebec. So then I would imagine that one would be opened and sent to someone near the Salaberry de Valleyfield branch of Quebec.
Have you called them yourself? Have you tried calling them?
No,
to explain your situation?
No, because I was told by RNC that because I'm a resident of Paradise, Newfoundland, that I'm in your jurisdiction, and I submit my files to you guys, and you guys forward them on to the appropriate jurisdiction. So
but we're not going to file files that have been shut down by different agencies.
Well, I don't know whether you're the first one that's called back on the big one. So I was.
Well, I'm calling back on all of them because I'm reading a very detailed report of historical things that have occurred to you, and some of these, I guess they're your words that you've reached out to Ottawa and you've reached out to RCMP. I'm just wondering what feedback you're getting there. Like, we can't just reopen them and send them. Like, if they are not investigating them, then that's something you have to deal with through that jurisdiction.
Okay, so the only place where I've submitted the big one, which implicates a few dozen judges.
We would never investigate that. That's beyond police scope to investigate judges.
It's not beyond police scope, and I was already told by RNC, someone a little higher up, that because my...
Who's higher up? Could you just give me the name,
well,
please?
Let me just finish.
Okay.
So because...
I have to validate everything you're saying, because if you're just saying things, so you're telling higher up, so what is the person the higher up that said that?
Well, I'm going to tell you what they advised me to do first, and then you can tell me whether or not you agree. And
I want to know the name, please. I'm questions.
I'm going to see if they want me to share their name. I recorded it all.
So police officers have to be full, fair, and frank. I'm going to be quite honest with you. So if you've had a conversation with a police officer and they're giving you advice and they're not telling, that's not recorded any fall, that's an issue for that police officer. Okay. We have to document everything we're doing.
Okay, I'm going to tell you one thing that I was advised to. Okay, so they said that because my allegations involve Ontario judges, that they would not be forwarding that complaint to Ottawa Police because it's beyond their jurisdiction. It would have to go to either OPP, the provincial police, or the RCMP, because we're now in the types of crimes that are investigated by the RCMP in Ontario, which include torture, human trafficking, and domestic terrorism. So I realize that RNC is not going to be investigating human trafficking that's occurring in our capital city. However, RNC is quite capable of putting together a complaint based on not just my words, but the evidence that I've only provided the tip of the iceberg. I have tons more.
Is there any reason you never made a complaint to these agencies around that when you lived there?
I had to flee.
It's a fair question.
Yeah. I fled Ottawa. I've been tortured by this syndicate for years. I fled.
What's the syndicate?
Well, did you not read my allegations?
I've read a lot of your allegations, but I need to specify what we're speaking about.
Well, it involves crooked cops, crown prosecutors, judges. I couldn't leave the city until May 24th of last spring. And I was advised by my attorney to get out of Ontario and try to continue this in a place that might have a legitimate police force. That's the only reason I'm here.
So your lawyer advised that?
Yeah.
To make a complaint with the RNC about
corruption
in Ontario?
She said leave Ontario. She suggested Nova Scotia. She suggested Nova Scotia, but I just decided to come here instead.
Okay.
So here I am. I've spoken to I thought I know it's federal crime. So I spoke to some officers in Placentia. I was going to move to an RCMP jurisdiction in Newfoundland so that I could go directly there to some, and they go, no, you're in Paradise, you got RNC, so just go with them, and they'll put it together for you and then get it off to the appropriate jurisdiction. And again, because I know it has to go up to the top of the RCMP. They don't have a very good reputation right now. It's pretty scandalous, the whole thing. I'm publishing everything online, as you probably know, so...
no, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I have a website. I've published the whole thing.
Can you tell me why Stephanie Glen is not returning your calls?
Oh, I'm not sure.
What's going on with that?
I'm not sure what your latest update is. She did return my call eventually.
Okay.
She said she spoke to someone. This is actually quite funny. So she spoke to her supervisor, who deemed my fraud complaint a civil matter. Meanwhile, I'm in civil court with Ottawa Police as we speak because they've refused to investigate any crime since 2014.
Why is that, man?
Because they're part of the office. So I get screened to the crooked cops. I mean, you're asking me some questions just going to take you down a long corridor of awareness that you may not want to hear at this moment. So any of my police complaints for sexual assault, fraud, forgery, you name it, they all go in the shredder because my ex apparently has some connections. And so, here's how ridiculous it is. At one point, I was threatened with life imprisonment on the charge of B&E.
You were threatened with that?
Oh, yeah. I was...
By who?
One of the crown prosecutors. So they charged me with B&E on my own house where I stole nothing, and I was simply trying to,
so you're
protect my children.
That a crown prosecutor threatened you with life imprisonment for breaking into your own house.
Oh, absolutely. He turned around and looked at me in the courtroom, and he goes, "Yeah, the maximum's life." Oh, they're pretty sick and twisted there. You have no idea. They're up to 14 charges against me. I didn't commit a single crime. The whole thing, it's just a...
Did you formalize a complaint against that crown attorney for that?
Well, I'm working...
That person's an officer of the court. They can't say that stuff.
Of course. I've been in touch with Ministry of Attorney General for years, and they know there's a lawsuit coming. And that's why Ottawa Police has their back.
and they are now after me in civil court, and they're claiming I'm vexatious, and they are going to attempt to have me shut out of all branches of court, and they actually put that in writing. So that means civil court, criminal court, family court. I'm still trying to divorce this thing. It's been 13 years. My children were illegally given to him. Now you understand.
What's that?
Because of the syndicate. You understand the term.
What's syndicate? What are you speaking about? What's the name of the syndicate?
Well, that's just what I call it. You know, it's actually they do have a name. They call themselves PAST, Partner Assault Support Team. It involves police, Crown prosecutors, Children's Aid Society, and, well, at this point, judges.
Miss Moore, I'm going to ask you a question now. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm trying to help you understand how human trafficking works in Ottawa. Now, if you know the criminal code and you read trafficking in persons, and you understand how many...
Miss Moore, you're making a lot of big allegations against a lot of different... No, just let me speak. Against a lot of different people.
Yep.
Saying there's a web of trafficking by the crowns, by police, corruption by judges. There's a lot of big allegations.
It's not just allegations. You've got the evidence, and if you don't have it in front of you, just go to pfi.rocks, my website, and look at the Mummygate tab.
Right.
It's
and
all...
What is this evidence?
Well, if you...
Explain it to me.
It's affidavits, exhibits, factums, decisions, transcripts. You need to be familiar with court process.
I'm very familiar with court process.
Okay,
I'm a 20-year police officer, man.
Okay, so let's take one example. When a Crown prosecutor submits an application for an order that I be prevented from posting anything to social media with...
Are you saying things without evidence? Is that a possibility?
No, they have lots of evidence. And this is how I have evidence, because if I submit materials, if I submit a reply to a Crown prosecutor and a criminal judge, and who used to be a Crown prosecutor, and I submit evidence of severe domestic violence, false allegations, conspiracy to prosecute, false sworn statements. I mean, these are actual crimes in the criminal code. And I submit evidence of all these crimes being committed against me, and that is ignored by the Crown prosecutor and the crooked judge, so that they actually produce an anti-charter order that prevents me from posting anything to social media out beyond jurisdiction. He had no jurisdiction to change my release order. It's not so many crimes. It's malicious prosecution is just a tort, but a conspiracy to prosecute is a crime. So I'm trafficked. I've been trafficked through like every branch of court in Ontario. It's complex. I mean,
You've been what? You've been trafficked?
Of course, but if my movement is restricted, I'm forced to live in a slum house for 2 years with
That's not human trafficking, though.
Yes, it is. You reread that definition of trafficking in person.
Miss Moore, I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to be honest, Miss Moore. We're not going to be able to investigate your claims. A lot of things you're saying here, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to investigate that. We're not going to compile a package.
You're closing the file, even though you've got...
I'm going to close this file after our conversation here today. I have some concerns about your mental health, man. To be honest with you.
Well, that's because that's just the go-to for everybody who's too afraid to expose the crime ring. I have support from psychologists, psychotherapists.
Are you taking any medication, may I ask?
Why would I take medication?
I don't know, because you're making a lot of claims against a lot of people in society that you claim you have evidence for.
Well, if you looked at the reports and you looked at my website, you'd realize it's not a claim at all. It's not a baseless, bald allegation. It's evidence of organized crime. Now, you're going to sit back and tell me that the capital city of one of the most resource-rich G7 nations in the world has no organized crime? Do you actually believe that? Just because CBC hasn't reported it?
I'm going to call our conversation. We're going to have to close your file, unfortunately, after our
evidenced a crime syndicate, including judges. I'm not claiming it. I've evidenced it.
Fair enough.
I would
suggest if you have claims of that for Ontario, then Ontario has what are called CERT, and they can investigate that. But you'd have to make that claim through them.
They have what?
CERT investigators. They have special investigators in Ontario. You seem very savvy with computer. You have a website and stuff like that. So there's different complaint agencies in Ontario that you can complain about police boards and judges. But to go through another police agency in a different province to make those claims is not the right way to do that.
Well, actually, it is. Can I have the name of your supervisor, please, Officer Cunningham?
No, it's Sergeant Cunningham. I am the supervisor.
Sergeant. Okay. Who's the next one up?
Staff Sergeant Hussey.
Can you spell that last name for me, please?
Yeah, Hussey.
Awesome.
Everything has been recorded here today, all your claims, just so you know that as well.
Yeah, I've recorded you as well. It's going to get published within the hour.
Right. So I'm happy you're letting me know that now, because you didn't let me know that at first.
I don't need to.
Right now, your allegations against Ontario judges, police, crown attorneys need to be followed up there. You won't be able to come into a different police agency to make those claims.
Well, your people told me exactly what to do, and now
I've asked you for the names of those people, and you won't give them to me.
Why would I? Have a nice day.